Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeremy Goucher.
So what is it that you are trying to do? Now, one way to find that is to deeply understand your customer. And traditionally, that meant, surveys or different forms of market research. I'm going to show you how a powerful connection can be made when you really understand deeply your most interesting group. In this case, I'm going to show you a little case study to get us there. We're going to pretend that we're trying to get people to stop littering out the side of their vehicles. Now, how many people recognize this image? Nice. OK, people remember this even though it's actually 40 years old, because in this commercial, in this ad, Iron Eyes Cody makes an emotional connection with his tier. As a little side note, though, he's actually an Italian actor named Desperado de Cody. So don't believe everything you see in the media. But here's the thing. Does an emotional connection matter if it works just a little bit on everyone? Because the reality is, although so many people remember that commercial, it had no measurable impact on the amount people were littering. So with anything you're trying to communicate, whether it's something to an end customer, or whether you've got a project that you're trying to sell to the business line within your company, there's a continuum of how you can get your message across. You can functionally tell people about your product or your idea. You can give them the benefits or a motivation, a sale, a discount, a cost savings. You can make that emotional connection, which is nice, but not really as tangible. Or you can go a step further and you can make a cultural connection. Now, cultural connection is a very interesting thing, but it's also very difficult. Really what it means is that you make people feel like they're part of the same team. The reason you're in this room is because you have a cultural connection to Red Hat. The reason people tattoo Harley-Davidson to the side of their arm, even though it's a corporate logo, is because they have a cultural connection. And it happens even in the unsexiest of industries. If you go Google, I love ING, you'll find 150,000 people have written about how they love ING, even though it's a bank. And the way this happens is when you're not speaking to someone in your marketing, but you're speaking with them. They see you as part of the same team. But to do that, you can't just market to everyone. You need to think about, who your real customer actually is. Who's your most important customer? And in this case, we need to know who litters. So back in the day, Texas ad agency, GSD&M, they spent a lot of money figuring this out. They hired a research company, and they found out who litters. But I was thinking that savvy developers like yourself could help me figure this out right now in the room. Do you think we can do it? Sure. OK, so I need you to be really loud. Who litters on the side of the road, males or females? Like not one of you can yell at females. Jeez. OK, young males or old males? Those damn young males. And do they drive cars or do they drive trucks? Minivans or pickup trucks? Wow. So with no evidence at all or research, you're a very convinced group. It turns out when they actually did this, surprisingly, what they learned is, you're absolutely right. The people who litter on the side of the road are males, they're young, and they drive pickup trucks. Now, this might be in the Canadian in me, but from my experience, I'd say they drink a little beer. Putting this back into Texas, I'll say maybe they've got a shotgun rack. But most importantly, they have a king of my world lifestyle. So put yourself inside this pickup truck, juxtapose yourself next to the crying Italian actor, and ask yourself if he stops you from wanting to throw a beer can out of your pickup truck window. Inevitably, he does not. So I'm going to show you the campaign they came up with. And when I do, you'll recognize the slogan. But what you might not realize is that these words were used together for the very first time to get young males to stop littering. This is a trademarked ad slogan. Don't mess with Texas. Trademark. We got some Texans over there. They're like, come on, represent. I love it. So they have the athletes, icons, and sports heroes of the day chanting this slogan. And one of the very first ones featured two Dallas Cowboy superstars. And like most overpaid athletes, they're standing on the side of the road just watching the cars go by. It's believable. And as soon as they see someone, toss a can on the ground, The guy marches on over, picks the can up, smashes it against his head, and says, "If you litter in Texas, you're messing with me. Don't mess with Texas." Okay, got it. Won't litter. You can see how much more aggressive and macho that campaign becomes, and because of that, the connection that it makes. I'm going to show you today how they keep that connection alive with a recent commercial spot. Here we go.
Hey, this is Owen Wilson.
This is Erykah Badu.
I'm Janine Turner.
This is Julius Jones.
This is Lance Armstrong.
This is Leanne Womack.
We're Lost Lonely Boys.
This is Chuck Norris.
This is Jennifer Love Hewitt reminding you.
Don't mess with Texas.
Now, I don't know about you, but I would have ended on Chuck Norris. Anyway, the cool thing about when you make a cultural connection, when people perceive you as part of their team, is that they endorse you, they support you, they help you, they advertise for you. And in this case, people even go to the extent of creating commercials and putting them up on YouTube. So here's a user-generated Don't Mess with Texas commercial.
You know why I pulled you over?
Hey, hold on one sec. Hey man, I gotta let you go. I got pulled over. Yeah, I'll give you a call back. Okay, great.
Please, don't mess with Texas.
Can I get some support from the Texans again on that? Now, I actually am censoring myself when I showed you those because I found some that took it a little bit further. This one featured a young man in a park assembling his rifle in Texas, obviously. And as soon as he saw someone litter, you hear the shot go off, and it says, "Don't mess with Texas." Why it's funny is that if you look at his YouTube description, he says, "I created this for a charity contest, but I was disqualified." The world is not fair. I also found one with two young women destroying a minivan, but we agreed that pickup truck drivers are the ones that litter. And here's where I want you to relate this back to your own campaigns. It's easy to think that you've got something successful or a way to message your product that's great, and that's what Ironized Cody is. It's great, but it actually doesn't create any action, so it doesn't become epic. We remember it, but the difference is that if you have people think that you're on the same team, then you can create that cultural connection. And in this case, litter on the side of the road was reduced by 72%, slightly beating the goal, which was 5%. That slogan is now synonymous with Texas.